Most teams don't suffer from a lack of data, right? We've all got dashboards and spreadsheets and pivot tables and reports. There's plenty of it floating around. The problem can sometimes be that by the time anyone spots the right signals, customers have already made up their mind that they're going to leave and churn happens. So if having data isn't the problem, what is? I think it's operationalizing your data. Dashboards can sit in tabs. We've all got a million of them open. Reports can go stale, sitting in your download folder. The result of all of that is that signals arrive too late, and customers have already churned or made that decision to go before you had a chance to get in there and do anything about it. Most teams have dashboards full of data, but what they're asking for is clear signals. What do I need to know? Who do I need to know it about? And what can I do about it? So if we look at the dashboard here in Accoil and go over to the top right, we're going to scroll down and see the feed, right? Scroll down, you can see all sorts of different accounts. The feed is based off of how your accounts move and shift over time. It's the trends. It's engagement going up or is it going down? Are people adopting new features or are they not, right? So you're looking at different changes and basically signals that indicate to you where you might want to jump in and do something about it. In particular, today we'll look at ice cold accounts. You can see here that there are 3 who have entered into this ice cold segment, which basically means that their engagement has it's fallen through the floor, which is not a good thing. And so this is sort of like alarm bells going off when you see customer accounts showing up in this feed card. Now from the dashboard, we're going to scroll up and click on View More. You can also click on the Feeds option in the left side menu there. And you can see everything that's happened over the past several weeks, including yesterday, what's happening this week to date, last week. So you can actually kind of scroll through this and see what the changes that have been happening. You know, you can start looking for and seeing accounts like ARC Biometrics might show up here and there. You know, they've showed up in score changes, red hot accounts, and over time you get a sense of how these companies are doing without having to dig into each individual account to sort of find the trends, right? Now, I should point out before I move off of this screen that you can have workspaces pretty much built for any team that you want. So if you have sales, success, account management, support, leadership, you can all create your own workspaces. And from there, you can create feeds that tell you what you need to know to confidently do your job and feel like you're more in the driver's seat, that proactive customer success motion that you really want to have. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly walk you through creating a new feed. It's worth pointing out before we move off the screen, however, that you can always come back and configure a feed. It's not set in stone. So once you've done that, you can come back here, you can update and tweak it as you like. But if we wanted to create a new feed, click on Select Feed in the top right, Add New Feed, and we're going to give it a name. This is New Feed, for the sake of the video. You can share it with teammates. Let's say we want to enable Slack delivery so that it will go into the channel that the team agrees is an important one, and we can decide between a daily or a weekly update that goes into that Slack channel. And once you've decided how frequently you want to get these updates and where you want to get them, we can start adding cards. And if you look through the different options that we have here, it's broken down by team. You'll see some of the same feed cards across the different teams. But if we wanted to identify churn risk, for example, we can set up ice cold accounts, ice cold users. So as with everything here in Accoil, you get account level and user level detail. Personally, I like looking at things like recently inactive. That's a bit of an earlier signal that they're starting to disengage from a product, perhaps. If you're in a role where you need to know what's happening right now and what are my at-risk accounts this week, the ones that I need to really prioritize, something like ice cold might be the way to go. So what I would do is add an ice cold. So they've entered into that segment. I'm going to save that, click here, and I will also add that recently inactive. So they've entered into that segment. And these are users that are slipping down there. Right? So I'm looking at ice cold accounts and then recently inactive users who have gone from being engaged customers to disengaged customers. We'll keep it simple and click on Save Feed. Your feed cards are actually quite configurable. Now, they are based on segments. So if you see here the ice cold accounts, let's say you want to tweak who shows up in these ice cold accounts. This is one of the pre-baked segments inside of Accoil. But if you wanted to see different accounts show up in this feed. You can create a segment for users or accounts, and you can have it show whatever you want. You can get as detailed as you want using the filters here. You can create segments based on feature use or not using certain features, account traits like paid, trial, etc. Trend lines for their scores, number of active users, how often they're in the product, that sort of thing. So you can create really granular segments, and then you can insert those segments into something like ice cold accounts. If our preset ice cold accounts segment is not, say, stringent enough or detailed enough for you, you can create your own custom segment and replace what we see here, replace ice cold accounts with pretty much whatever you want it to be right in there. Then you would save that configuration, and off you go. You'd click on Update Feed, and you'd be presented with your whole feed. Give it about 5-10 seconds, and the whole thing will populate, and you'll have a brand new feed that's getting delivered into Slack where you work already, so you can be very proactive about your customer success plays.